In this video, we're going to talk about a problem that can arise when you're dealing with method calls of objects in an inheritance hierarchy. So in this hierarchy, we have a My Device superclass and 3 subclasses. And just so you can see how this is all organized, we'll take a look at the driver. I'm going to create 2 My Computer objects, 2 My Phones, 2 My Robots, and place them all into an array of My Devices. And so when I go through here with a for each loop and traverse the array, I'm going to call the toString method for each, which looks like it should work because they're all objects in this array. So if I close this and compile it and run it, I indeed get a printout of the different elements in the array. So it's no problem. So let's take a dig a little bit deeper. Inside each of these classes, the phone, the computer, and the robot, I have an additional method here that I wrote called getSerialNumberPrefix. It's the prefix of a serial number that we're going to create for each object. And so for phone, we're going to call it phone, and for computer, it's going to be computer, and for robot, it's going to be robot. So here's the one for phone. If I take a look at the computer, you'll see that it says computer for the getSerialNumberPrefix. And for the robot, it's going to say robot, which we can add on numbers and other letters later, but this is at least the prefix. So what if I try to go to the driver and say, you know what, let's get serial number prefix. It's a method that exists in all 3 classes, so it looks like I should be able to call that method because it's common to all 3. So if I compile, it says it cannot find the symbol. Cannot find the symbol get serial number prefix. So that's kind of weird because I did define it. So here's the trick, or here's the rule. The array thinks it's an array of My Devices and only My Devices. It doesn't know anything more than that. What subclasses are actually, what types of subclasses are actually in the array. For all intents and purposes, it thinks it's a My Device. So what specifically, what does that mean? Well, specifically what it means is I can only call constructors or methods in a My Device object. So let's see. My Device 0arg, My Device multi-arg, get price, is in stock, ship item, and toString. Nowhere here does it see anything about a get a serial number prefix. It doesn't know anything about that. So we evidently do have those methods defined, and I actually cannot factor them out in here because the code in each one is slightly different. So I can't use any one of them to put in here because that is going to present me with a different problem. What I can do is this. I can say public and create what's called an abstract method, abstract, and I believe the return value is a string, get serial number prefix, and just end it there. I'm not going to put any code inside the body. There's no beginning curly brace, any ending curly brace. I'm just going to say, yes, there is a method called get serial number prefix. You can call it. There's no code here, it's abstract. But if you look at the actual subclass beneath it, computer, phone, or robot, the code actually does exist, and you should call that code. So what this is doing here is creating the ability for me to go into the device driver and say, yes, I can call this serial number prefix method, and each individual specific object of a class, a computer, phone, robot, will then execute its own code. So let's see, let's compile this. It looks like it worked. Now it works. Close it. I just compile one more time, and I'm going to run the driver. And when I do that, I can see that I get the printout of all the objects before, and then I'm printing out the get serial number prefix method. So I can call a method for computers, phones, or robots because I made that method an abstract. I'm saying, yes, it's eligible to call. It's legal to call that method in the driver. And when I actually do try to execute the code, I will look at the specific type of object that I'm dealing with, a computer, phone, or robot, and here you can see that it actually does that. So that is the, if you take a look in the big scheme of things, we can create an abstract method here so that allows us to cycle through in drivers or whatever class elements in an array to call a specific method.